Hi guys, and welcome to another video. And this is my cost of the dog video. And this video is going to be about what it costs in order to keep my dog as a working German Shepherd. So that's in terms of keeping him alive, what it costs me in order for me to be able to work him, etc, etc. And the reason that I'm making this video is that this goes along with one of my previous videos about sort of the money that you earn and things like that. And I think one of the biggest things I hear people say is that security dog handlers should earn more money because we have to look after the dog, we have to have a specialised vehicle, different things like that. And I thought I just want to make a video and tell you how much it cost me and maybe put over my side of sort of stuff. Now, the first thing I think you have to remember in terms of being a security dog handler is that you are a security guard first, or you are a door supervisor first, depends on what licence you've got, but you're a dog handler second. And being a security dog handler is either a lifestyle, a business choice or a personal choice. And I don't have to have my dog in order to be a security guard. So therefore becoming a security dog handler was a personal choice of mine. And I'll tell you why it was a personal choice of mine is that I already had the dog. He wasn't a working German Shepherd at the time, but I had him as a pet. So it was a personal choice of mine because I already had the dog. It was another choice of mine because I've always wanted to work with dogs. So one of the reasons that I'm in this industry and I'm making these videos, etc., is because I wanted to work with dogs. So that was a big pull for me. So I already had the dog. I always wanted to work with dogs. And then thirdly, I wanted an added bit of security. And what I mean by an added bit of security is that I wanted to have someone on site with me that would be able to detect on people, would be a bigger deterrent of people wanting to come onto the site that I'm working on, and it just made me feel a lot safer. So for me, it was more of a personal choice in order to get into this. Now, with every personal, whether it's hobby or whatever it is, with every personal choice or every business choice, there are things you have to pay for. And security dog handling is no different. So because of a personal choice of mine, I've obviously had to set myself up so that I can accommodate the dog. So I've had to buy a bigger van. I've had to either buy a better vehicle or whatever. I've had to buy equipment for him. I've had to obviously buy things like the crate, etc. But it's also a business choice. If you are a security guard or you are a doorman on a door supervisor license, if you decide, right, I want to become a security dog handler because I want to be able to, as a business choice, I'll be able to earn more money. But in order for that business to start up, I know I'm going to have to buy these certain things. And that's like a business choice. And that's the same. I've used this analogy in another video. That's the same as wanting to become a plumber, wanting to become a builder, wanting to become another tradesman, is that at the start, you have to pay for tools, you have to pay for certain stuff in order to be able to start up your business. Starting up a business for anyone is not cheap and it's not easy, but if you're committed and you see it through and you do the work, then obviously you can earn a lot of money out of it, or you can thrive as a business. So some of the costs that I paid for in order to be a security dog handler rather than just a security guard. So I've got the crate. So the crate that you see behind me, that cost me about £300. Now, you can get second-hand cages around that sort of £200 to £300 mark. You can go as expensive as paying £1,800. Now, it's a personal choice whether you go for the £1,800 ones. It's a personal choice if you go for the second-hand ones that are £250, £300, whatever. But it's also a business choice as well. So this is why I say personal choice and business choice kind of go together. They're not exactly the same before anyone says anything, but as a personal choice, I bought a crate that was second-hand that cost me £300. I had things like collars and leads, so I needed to buy better collars, better leads in order to do this. And roughly, I worked that out probably to about £100. I think my leads cost me about 15 quid each. My collar, I think, is about £60, etc. So in terms of like collars and leads, I needed to, as a personal choice of becoming a security dog handler, I had to buy better collars, better leads. I couldn't just use my standard pet collar that I had, my standard pet retractable lead, etc. So in order, as a personal choice to become a security dog handler, the cost of new collars, new leads, etc. was just part of that. Then I've got things like safety. So when I talk about safety, I'm talking about things like muzzles, long lines, different things like that. Things that are more like safety route. Roughly they was about sort of 30 quid, I think, for like the muzzles and different things like that. And then probably the biggest one is obviously the vehicle. Now, I hear people say that, well, we deserve more money because we have to have a bigger vehicle that accommodates the dog. We need to have different things like that. Now, if I wasn't a security dog handler, I would have to have another vehicle. So just because I'm a security dog handler doesn't mean that I've had to pay out for a vehicle. I could have kept my other vehicle, or I could have bought the missus, if we needed a second vehicle, I could have bought the missus a cheaper vehicle. And I roughly worked it out that this van cost me about £5,000 more than I probably would have paid for a vehicle if I was a security guard. Now, I've got statics that are working just outside my site, looking after some other stuff, and they're coming in their just normal day-to-day car, probably the same car that they're going to use on a Saturday and a Sunday when they're going to the shops, or they're going Christmas shopping, or they're taking the kids out for a day out. They're using them same cars. So if I wasn't a security dog handler and I was just a normal static security guard, I would still have to buy a vehicle. So I've worked out roughly I've probably paid about £5,000 more for this vehicle than I would for another vehicle to become a static. But again, that was a personal choice. Okay, let's get into what Cooper cost me. So what does Cooper cost me in terms of keeping him alive, keeping him in work, and different things like that? Now, the first thing is obviously keeping him alive. So I've got food. So roughly I pay probably around about £120 a month for food. So that's about, well, that works out about just over £1,400 a year it cost me for Cooper's food. Treats. Now, because Cooper works with me, I feel like he earns some money. So in terms of that, I buy him some decent treats, or I buy a decent amount of treats that he has what he likes. And I've worked that out probably around about £30 a month. Sometimes it's not that much, sometimes maybe it's a little bit more, depending on if I want to treat him on a big bone, or I want to treat him on some different treats. But I've worked out probably about £360 a year is what I pay on treats. Again, that's a bit of a personal choice. Some people probably pay less, some people may even pay more. In terms of toys, now toys, I've roughly got what I need. The main thing with Coop is just a ball. So as long as I've got some of them chuck it balls that are sort of the indestructible ones, as long as he's got like a ball and different things like that, he's happy as Larry. So in terms of that, I'll probably maybe £20 a year is what I end up paying for sort of toys, because mainly he's just sort of a bulldog. Vets. Now, vets is £120 roughly for jabs, etc. So that's like his annual booster and his kennel cough. I've put in accident or illness of £150. Now, the reason that I've done that, some years I won't pay that, some years I might pay double that. But roughly, I would say on an average, probably £150 a year, because at least once a year, he's going to get ill where he needs to go and see a vet, or he's going to cut his pad and needs to go to the vet and get some treatment, etc. So roughly, I've worked that out, probably of an average cost of about £150 a year. Look, sometimes it's going to be more, sometimes it's going to be less, but that's just what I'm putting that down as an average. Now we get into sort of the work side of stuff. So monthly training. So that is going for a monthly CT session. So the videos that you guys would have seen of me doing patrol training, protection training, article search training, different things like that, cost me £40 a month on my last year. It might change soon, but so that works out at £480 a year. In terms of vehicle supply, so obviously as a security dog handler, being self-contained, you need to have certain stuff. Things like fire extinguisher, you might need to get a new fire extinguisher. They cost about 20 quid. And then first aid, I've put £20. So I've just put £20 in as a rough number, in terms of maybe I need to get some more bandages, maybe I need to get some more adhesive pads, or different things like that. Things that I'm just topping up on my first aid kit that I might have used throughout the year. Now, if you've watched my dog insurance video, you will be aware that you can't get sort of pet insurance for a working German Shepherd or a working dog. So as a personal choice of me, I put money into savings for him instead. So instead of paying £50 a month for dog insurance, which is obviously very handy if something goes wrong. I put £80 a month into a pot for him, and basically what that is that if he gets ill, needs to go and see the vet, if something happens, then I've got a decent amount that I won't have to think about whether I can afford to be able to treat him for an injury or whatever it is. And obviously with them jabs and the accidents and illness, that comes out of it as well. So as a personal choice for me, I just put £80 a month into that. So when it comes to savings, that's me just putting money in a pot for him for sort of a rainy day. So it does cost me because I put it in because of him. But at the end, when the end is near, and hopefully this is a long time coming, but when Cooper's time does end, if I've got 4 or 5 grand in that pot that I haven't had to use for any injuries or things like that, that is then comes back to being my money again. That's not his money. He doesn't die with that money, so that will be my money again. So in terms of savings, yes, it does cost me because I put it in for him, but it's at the end of time, that is going to be my money back. And then self-employed. So self-employed are going to need liability insurance. People have said to me, look, it's roughly costing probably £300 to £350. Some may be more, some may be less, depending on what sort of cover that you get. But again, that is a business choice. So if you're a self-employed dog handler, you need liability insurance. If you're PAYE handler, you don't require liability insurance. You may get liability insurance to cover yourself outside work, but in terms of going to work and being covered whilst you work, as a PAYE handler, you should be covered by your company's insurance whilst you work. Now, as a dog person, I think if I wasn't in this industry the same way as I was with when I first got Cooper as a pet, I still feel like I would have a dog. Now, it may not be a German Shepherd because my circumstances have changed a little bit, but maybe I would have something like my Cocker Spaniel. So I do have another dog, which is a Cocker Spaniel, and that would probably be the dog I would kind of go for, or size dog that I would go for if I wasn't a security dog handler and maybe I was a static guard, or maybe I just went and got like another normal 9-to-5 job or whatever it was. And as someone that would have a dog anyway, the way in which I look at this as well is that, okay, if I wasn't a security dog handler and I didn't have the cost of Cooper, I would still have a cost of another dog. So in terms of that, I've got Ollie down as food, about £720 a year. He obviously doesn't eat as much as Cooper, his meals aren't as big, etc. And I've worked it out that it will probably cost me somewhere in around about £720 a year. Jabs about £100 for his booster. Treats probably about £240 a year. Toys maybe 50 quid a year because he has different types of toys. He destroys lots of toys. It's just the Cocker Spaniel way. And again, I've put accident and illness down as £150. That just sort of covers if he gets sick or he injures himself, etc. So I've put that down at like £150. So when I look at the bigger picture, so from everything that I sort of talked about then, so sort of Cooper's sort of food and different things, I didn't count savings and I didn't count liability insurance, but Cooper cost me $2,610, a rough guess. So about just over £2,500 a year it cost me to have Coop and keep him in work. And when I look at that and I think, should I be earning a lot more money because I have to keep a dog like Cooper? I don't believe so. Now, you could argue, probably the better argument is that we as security dog handlers should be paid more because we bring a better deterrent than maybe a static guard, etc. But in terms of Cooper's cost, he cost me probably just over £2,500 a year. Now with Ollie is probably costing me just over 1,200 quid a year. So when I look at that and I say, right, if I wasn't a security dog handler, I would have a dog anyway. Cooper ends up costing me just over 1,350 quid a year more than Ollie. Now, if you ask me as a security dog handler, if you ask me, would you take £1,350 less a year, but have a dog that is a better deterrent, would be able to find people on site and would help protect you in a situation where someone was trying to attack you? Would you take a pay cut of £1,350 to do this job, I would say absolutely, let's get going. So I see Cooper's costs as my fee to stay safer, do my job better, and be a better deterrent. And that's why I say that it's kind of like a business choice and a personal choice. Is that I don't look at Cooper as a what's the word, as a cost. I see it as my fee for staying safer, being a better deterrent, and being better at my job. So when I look at it, yes, okay, Cooper cost me over $2,500 a year in order to keep. Do I believe that I should get a $2,500 pay rise because I have the dog? No, I don't. And a lot of people, in terms of a business choice, they have more dogs. So if we go down that route, do we start saying, well, the more dogs you have, the more you should get paid per hour? Although you can only work one dog at a time, if you have 3 dogs, does that mean that you should get £2 more than someone that has 1 dog? So I think you have to be careful with that. And like I say, I look at that and say, look, Cooper cost me $2,500 a year. For $2,500 a year, I have better protection, I'm better at my job, I'm a better deterrent, and I feel safer doing the job that I do. And like I say, without Cooper, would I be doing this job? I don't know. I don't know whether I would be a static guard. I don't know whether I'd be a mobile driver. What I do know is that I'm in this industry because I have him. So look, they are just my opinions. The way in which I look at it is, look, I would have a dog anyway. So Cooper really only cost me £1,350 a year, and I don't mind paying that. No one needs to pay me £1,350 a year for me to be happier in the job that I'm doing. Some people want to be paid more because they want to be paid for having a dog. Now, I don't want to be paid for having a best friend. I don't want to be paid better for doing a better job. I don't want to be paid for having a companion. So I'll be interested to see what your thoughts on this video are. Look, they're just my costs. Some people are going to pay a lot more. Some people are going to pay a lot less. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what your comments are on the video. If you've got any comments, make sure you put them down in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below for loads more videos. And if you like what I do and the message that I share and the information that I give out, down in the description below is also my Patreon. That's got more videos on there that's not on YouTube, and you can help support me make more videos. And as for now, I'll see you again in the next video. Cheers for watching. See you later. Bye.